or about to turn 95.
Well, the thing about that is when you've been married that long and your spouse goes and you're that old, you typically, I think it's within a year, they're usually...
Oh, yeah. Some have died within 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because they survive for each other, right? Like
Oh, exactly.
And like I said, I do respect the fact that he did not go out and buy a bunch of mansions or grift off of the fact that he was a former president.
I think he's been the best ex-president we've ever had.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Doing Habitat for Humanity stuff. And you see, Vivek Ramaswamy has announced he's running for president.
Who?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
I don't know him.
Oh, he's awesome. He is a firebrand.
But does he have a chance against Trump?
No, I don't think so either.
Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
Hump Day, I'm Bill Edwards. It is Ash Wednesday.
It sure is, and I'm Brittany Brown.
Lent begins for us Christians. So,
Yes.
Are you going to give up anything for Lent?
I want to say sugar, but I don't know,
Okay.
Bill.
I'm going to give up cauliflower pizza. Okay, there we go. Well,
Okay. See, I was going for a challenge.
Okay.
Sugar's really hard for me, but
me too. Yeah,
sweet tea.
definitely.
The sweet tea down here.
Oh yeah,
it
that's
doesn't
one
get any
word.
better.
That's one word, by the way,
Yes,
in the
yes.
South, sweet tea. In fact, I ran into a lady one time who said she didn't know how to make unsweet tea. I said, you know that stuff when you make tea before you put the sugar in it, that's it. So there you go. Welcome to Get Real America. We're glad you're aboard here this morning on this Wednesday as we get ready, just about to wrap up the month of February.
Yes, and 80-degree weather today, Bill.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Very excited about it.
Your parents are in town and they're enjoying things from Salt Lake City.
Yes, they actually had to move their flight because the snowstorm is so bad going through Salt Lake the next couple days. So it's the best winter they've had in, I think, almost 15 years. So
Okay.
It's been a good snow season in Salt Lake. And
That's global warming.
yeah,
Yeah, climate change.
yes, showing up for us.
It sure is.
But yes, we went on a port tour, and actually it was really cool. Went up the river, and the guy explained kind of the different manufacturing that happens at the port and also how the ports work. It was very interesting, and I thought that was definitely worth it. So you guys should check it out.
I am glad they were having a good time. This is a good town to have a good time in. So getting ready for all the spring activities that are coming. I've even seen some azaleas start to bloom. So it's really, when the azaleas are in full bloom down Victory Drive and stuff, it's breathtaking.
It's gorgeous, yes.
Yeah, it really is. We're glad you're aboard. Things are going along swimmingly in the Murdaugh murder trial. Alex Murdaugh up in a double homicide trial right up the road in Colleton County in Walterboro, South Carolina. And we have a report here this morning on just how things went as Alex Murdaugh's son took the stand.
If you listen to it, would you be able to tell the jury whether it's I or they?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd like to pull up Exhibit 153, the clip.
And sitting on top of the day is tough. It was just so bad. It's so bad.
What'd your dad say?
Said they did him so bad.
Was that the first time you'd heard him say they did him so bad?
No, sir.
When was the first time you heard him say they did him so bad?
First time I heard him say that was the night that I went down to Moselle, the night of June the 7th.
The only surviving son of disgraced South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh was called to the witness stand in the Colleton County courtroom today. 26-year-old Buster Murdaugh was the third witness for the defense as his father stands accused of the brutal murders of his mother Maggie and his brother Paul. It all happened 2 summers ago on the property you just heard Buster reference as Moselle. Alex faces murder and gun charges in this case. We have team coverage from Colleton County right now. Investigative reporter Max Dieknike will take us into a deep dive of the defense witness list in just a moment. But first, our Low Country reporter Tyler Mannion walks us through what else we heard from Buster on the stand.
defense will call Richard Alexander Murdoch Jr., also known as Buster Murdoch.
As his son took the stand, Alec Murdaugh with an expression I haven't seen from him all trial. Throughout the last 4 weeks, I've looked over at Buster as he sat in the audience of the courtroom, sometimes in those moments seeing him doodling, writing, or just paying attention to what's going on during the trial. But hardly ever has he shown emotion. That continuing today as he took the witness stand.
I mean, guns would just not always find their way back to the gun room.
Alec's attorneys had Buster describe the call from June 7th, 2021, where his dad passed along the tragic news.
He asked me if I was sitting down, and I was like, yeah. And then he, sounded odd, and then he told me that my mom and brother had been shot. I kind of just sat there for a minute, and I was in shock.
The defense then moved on to what happened after the murders, asking the 26-year-old about the motivation to find out who killed his family.
Alec and Buster Murdaugh announced today a reward of $100,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons who brutally murdered Paul and Maggie on June 7th, 2021.
When Buster got back to his seat following testimony, he was greeted with warmth from family members, including a pat on the knee from his uncle, aunt, and girlfriend, just to name a few. Of course, that was just one of the witnesses the defense called today, and I'm working to bring you into the rest of the day of court coming up on The News at 6. For now, though, reporting from Colleton County, Tyler Mannion, WTOC News.
I must say our local stations have done a great job of covering this trial, and I'm impressed with some of the young reporters that have done
Yes.
such a good job.
Yes, but it also is probably one of the biggest cases that's been in this area in a very long time.
Yeah,
So,
and certainly for Walterboro. I mean,
Yes.
they're not used to, the spotlight of that kind of attention, but we see that a lot now. Moscow, Idaho comes to
Yes.
mind, these small towns, and Walterboro is just a delightful, beautiful little community just west of Charleston. And it is, most of the people are in shock, with the stuff like that doesn't happen here.
right.
Like in Moscow, Idaho, they hadn't had a murder in 7 years.
Yeah.
Before that hideous,
Horrific.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, but we'll keep you posted, and the defense could be resting. They probably will wrap up. The trial will probably wrap up next week.
Yeah, and one thing just to note in Savannah that I thought was interesting is that for the Quentin Simons case, his mother, I don't believe they're going to allow any press, no cameras or anything,
Nothing
which I
in the
thought was
courtroom.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because that is also probably one of the bigger trials here.
And I don't know exactly what the judge's reasoning is on that. Well,
I'm not
once
sure.
upon a time we used to have what was called, I believe it was Canon 35, when one of the laws that said that cameras were not allowed in a courtroom. Period.
Oh, wow.
That's where you had.
The sketches.
That's where you had the people doing the sketches of the trial. So it was good for sketch artists, but reporters could sit in the courtroom and then come back and report later, but cameras were not allowed at all.
Well, and there's probably,
I think it's a good, to a degree. I'm
it
thinking.
creates a lot of chaos when you look at like some of the high-profile cases. I think wasn't OJ's one of the first ones that was ever recorded, and
Yeah.
it was very sensationalized. I think then you also get a lot of outside influence into some of those cases.
Yeah,
which
that
I
was
think
a
can be-
circus.
Yeah,
There was
that's
one.
exactly what it is. It's a
And
circus
it-
when you bring in all the cameras.
Sure,
But
and a jury that collective IQ was not quite double digits.
yeah, that was
I heard the foreperson of the jury interviewed on Larry King shortly after that, and this woman was so clueless. I was just sitting there saying, "This was the foreman of the jury." She talked about that there's some sort of chemical that they put in the blood to preserve it, to do DNA tests and things of that nature, or to bring it back to decoagulate.
testable, yeah.
And she was, and it was some like something that they use it, and she kept talking about the ESPN in the blood, and I was like, no, dear, that's you sat there for 9 months, and and you can't figure, and you couldn't tell what this was. They were going to acquit him no matter what. I mean, they found everything except his Heisman Trophy at the damn scene, but he's still out there looking for the real killer, though. That to give you some comfort.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it created a circus, and I think we've seen multiple trials in that way. I can't think of her name, but there was a case out of Arizona that became sensationalized. I can't think of her name right now. Jodi Arias or something like that.
Okay.
She had murdered someone in the shower. There was actually,
Oh, yes.
it was horrific,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that trial was also turned
She
into
got
a
off too,
circus.
didn't she? Or
No,
not?
no. I don't believe she did. She,
All right, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I do remember the case.
yes, it was, well, she had washed a camera to try and get rid of some photos and stuff, and it didn't really work out for her.
Oh, what a
So,
shame.
yeah, it was definitely a circus though, and they've done plenty of Lifetime specials after that case. So, oh yeah, some
right.
of these criminal cases.
For sure. Well, coming back, we're going to talk about star student, star teacher. One of the things that bothers me more than anything else is that our Kiwanis Club every year sponsors the Chatham County Star Student, Star Teacher Award. And all the star students from all the high schools in Chatham County, private and public, are represented. They're usually the principal is there, then the student picks the star teacher, who is the one that inspired them the most. And they are there. And so if you want to, the media focuses on the bad kids most of the time. And if you want to really get to the point where you're not worried about the future of the country, come to an event like this. When you see these fantastic young people who have all these great ambitions, because we ask them to come up, tell a little bit about themselves, where they plan to matriculate in after graduation from high school. What are they going to do? And most of them, we had going to Georgia Tech, going to law school, going to Mercer, going to Georgia Southern, and one was going to Yale. So it goes on and on. And they had to fight their way through the media horde in order to. Oh no, they didn't. None of the TV stations were there. Now, I will admit that I fell down on the job by not calling the TV stations and letting them know when it was. But the person who is in charge of the publicity at each one of these schools, or the overall Chatham County public relations director, should be notifying the TV and media. So
Yes.
every newspaper should have been there, every television station should have been there, and you've got 18 or 20 of the most brilliant students in Chatham County, and no media coverage.
Except for you, Bill.
Yeah. So we have that. We got that coming up exclusive. You're going to meet a couple of the kids. Unfortunately, maybe they didn't understand what I said. I said I'd like to talk to some of you afterward, including the star student, because we pick, we honor each one from each school, and then you get the overall star student.
Yeah.
So the overall star student is a young man named Edward Henneman III from Savannah Country Day. And to give you an idea of just, the academic rigors at Savannah Country Day, just about 90%, I think, of our star students come from the overall star student comes from Country Day.
Wow.
So it's a pretty good curriculum load, and
They're
those
preparing
kids.
them for those Ivy League schools.
Yeah, they really are. So you're not going to hear from him until I track him down, and I will. But you're going to hear from a couple of them, and also a great sponsor that we have in Kinder Morgan, that is one of the great energy corporations of America. It has Elba Island here, and the reason that maybe you're watching us now is because of Kinder Morgan. They do those evil pipelines, that we're trying to stop.
Yes. Trying to get
And
access to
get
people.
rid of that
It's horrible.
evil natural gas that they transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be hearing from Alan Ford, the Executive Vice President of Public Relations for Kinder Morgan, on that as well. They have been our sponsor for the Star Student Program for about 7 years now, and we couldn't do it without, because we feed all these people. So we had about 200 people yesterday at the Pirates House.
Oh, that's fun.
For lunch. Including a lot of the dignitaries. Mayor Van Johnson was there for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So we're glad to have him. And Roger Moss, the new president of the Savannah-Chatham County School Board, was with us as well. So a really cool event. We'll tell you more about it coming up next. You're going to meet a couple of these kids, and they are absolutely amazing. That's next on Get Real America.
serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
At Get Real America, we'd like to thank the Southeast Georgia Republican Assembly for all their efforts on making a difference in our communities.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
It is Ash Wednesday. Hope there are a lot of services that are going on in our churches around the community and around the country and world.
Yes, and if you're giving something up, let us know what it is. I'm always curious what people are willing to give up. I know that Bill is willing to give up his cauliflower pizza, but if you are not going to give it up, Costco has a good one, according to our friend Lizzie Warren.
Oh, well, send up a flare. Can't wait to try it in 40 days. As we were mentioning just before we went to break, the Star Student, Star Teacher program is the highlight of our Downtown Kiwanis Club's events of the year and the work that we do in the community, where we honor all of the, and these are the kids who have scored the highest on the SAT scores and other ACT perhaps as well, which is actually a better test than the SAT.
Is there any volunteer stuff that goes into the decision of the Star Student, or is it all academic?
It's basically academic, but most of them are well-rounded kids. Even though they've learned how to adjust their time, because some of them you'll say that they're swimmers, or they're like, you'll hear about what Jackson Jones does, but it's just amazing how they can compartmentalize and do their time and still be kids. It's just amazing. And again, congratulations to Savannah Country Days. The overall Star Student for Chatham County, the highest grade, is Edwin O. Henneman III, and we'll track him down and get him on at a later show. But we'll start off with the Star Student from Calvary. Here's Jackson Jones. Tell you who he is. Jackson, what does something like this mean to you?
I just feel honored to have this opportunity and to be here with my star teacher, Miss Herndon. It's just the fruits of my labor of all the hard work that I put into high school. So yeah, and I'd just like to thank the Kiwanis for having us here, and for the Pirates House for hosting this event.
And what are your future plans?
I plan on going to Georgia Tech and pursuing a degree in mechanical engineering.
Jackets.
Go Jackets.
My dad played on the Rose Bowl team.
Really?
The only one.
Really?
I'll tell you a little bit about that later. And your star teacher is?
I'm Marcia Herndon.
Tell me about your star student here.
So Jackson makes it easy. He is a fabulous student, a fabulous young man. He's a hard worker. He has a great curiosity. He loves to dig into things, always has questions, always willing to dig for those answers. And and just a fine young man. It's been a real pleasure to have a kind of a front row seat. I've taught him for a couple of years now, and I can't wait to see where the Lord leads him in the future.
You teach him what?
Pardon me?
What class?
So I taught him honors physics, AP physics, and engineering 1 and 2.
Okay, and you'll explain vectors to me later, will you not?
Yeah, I'm going to explain vectors
Thank
to
you so much. I appreciate that. And Jackson, what about your extracurricular activities? What do you
Let's see. I played 2 sports. I used to play baseball, and now I run cross country and run track. And I also am a part of the engineering team at Calvary. And
Super.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what do you do in track?
I'm doing the mile and the 800.
Oh, fantastic. Got some good stuff coming up?
Hopefully, yes, sir. Hopefully, going to break the school record this year. So.
And I want to thank you. You're one of the few that thank the Lord today for what you do in class as well.
Sir?
You thank the Lord today.
Yes, definitely thank the Lord. He's the one who's provided me all these opportunities. He's the one who's given me all these skill sets that I have. So just all the glory to him, because without him, none of this would be possible.
Future aspirations? What do you think you'd like to do professionally?
Professionally, I would like to work either at Gulfstream or a car manufacturer and just help design cars or planes and help just build the future, basically.
I'll look forward to driving or flying in one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jackson. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Who you are?
Hi, my name's Lucas. I'm here with my 2 parents and my teacher of my choice. Just won the Star Award Student Teacher Achievement Recognition, and I just want to give thanks to my teacher and my counselors, my principal. I plan on attending Georgia Southern, and then of course, like for me, I've always wanted to serve my country, so I do plan to join the military, and a big part of that is because of my father and of course my teacher.
Where'd
he's
they
been
serve?
a big part. They both served in the Army.
How about you? You going to go Army?
That's a big question.
Okay.
I'm still deciding.
That's
So,
okay, as long as you're serving the country,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I do plan though. It's
and then what?
you know,
You might stay in.
I'll probably stay in, yeah, so that I can retire after about 20 years and then have that get a further education with the GI Bill and everything. So I do plan on bumping up
What is something like this to you?
like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of hard work went into this.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I'm very thankful. You know, I didn't expect to get this, but you know, it is what it is. I really do appreciate it.
Lucas, we're proud of you.
All right, thank you.
And your star teacher?
Oh, Dr. Pacheco?
Dr. Pacheco?
Hey,
yes.
how are you?
How are you? Tell me about your star student. What makes him so special?
So I had him for 3 years when he was in middle school. I mean, I was so honored when they reached out to me and told me that I was going to be his star teacher. I mean, even though I had not had him in years, I mean, that made me realize what type of an impact I made on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a senior now. I mean, and I taught him in middle school for 3 years. So for him to come back, I mean, and it made my eyes watery when he was up here because so amazing, such an honor. He's amazing, always been. I remember speaking to him in middle school and we were always talking about like his future, what he was gonna do. We would talk about the military because I served as well. I mean, I would give him advice on what he should do. I mean, what path he should follow. And here he is. I mean, I'm honestly not surprised that he's on this stage, and I think he's gonna be on a higher stage in the future.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Just amazing people, and the teachers you don't know who you've touched or how you've touched them. You may not ever find out.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
But every once in a while, you'll get that student that will come back maybe 5, 10 years later and say how much you inspired them. So you're immortal.
Yes,
Meanwhile,
I love high school kids too. Like
Yeah, I do too.
they're so fun, and so they have so much life in them. And I think as we sometimes talking to adults, it's kind of not as fun. But when you talk to kids, they have so much of the future ahead of them, and they can see things that maybe some of us have been clouded in. But very exciting for those guys, and what great aspirations they both have, and they're both very humble. They're not. I mean,
oh yeah.
So
Without
it's fun
a
to
doubt.
see that.
Yeah, you could see that a lot of them don't have attitudes
Yes.
for the most part. And thanks to Kinder Morgan that has helped sponsor this for the last 7 years for us. And Alan Four is the executive vice president of Kinder Morgan, who flew in from Chicago yesterday just for the event. And I asked Alan, what something like this meant to him.
We're going to get reacquainted with Alan Four, Vice President at Kinder Morgan. And once again, just a spectacular event here at the Pirates House this year.
Bill, good to see you. And we have been a sponsor of this event for many years. And as I said in my remarks, it's always so inspiring to see these young people. As you were reading off the names and then the folks came up and said what they were doing, I want to hire all these people. I mean, you talk about an amazing group of young people. And if there's ever a discouraging time in anyone's life, if you want to think we do have a bright future, it's coming to events like this. And the parents and the teachers and the educators and all the others that are for every student that's here should be very proud. Savannah should be very proud at the great students they're putting forward, and we're very much happy to be a part of it. As you know, we have invested a lot in Savannah. Savannah is a great place to work, to live and raise a family. We have hundreds of employees here. We've invested billions of dollars in our natural gas facilities in the area. And hopefully now, some of these kids are going off to faraway places, from the military to universities, will come back and reinvest in the communities and be residents here. So great event, great young people, and glad to be part of it.
Well, and thank you for everything that Kinder Morgan does. The energy industry is kind of under fire these days, and what you do to help keep the lights on and the cars running and the trucks going, we couldn't do it without you.
Well, and the facility we have here, too, as you know, Bill, is so critical now as we're not only becoming domestically energy independent through use of natural gas in particular, but we're also exporting. And we're part of an international economy now that particularly for countries that don't like us very much, being able to wave the energy wand over us and the economy would shudder. Now we can be an exporter of energy and also contribute to this larger effort at making sure that energy isn't used as a political tool. And Savannah is a big part of that. Chatham County, a big part of that through our Elba facility here. And that's really what we do at the end of the day, is we're in this business of providing energy to what is needed. And someone asked me the other day, how long are you going to be doing this? And our answer is, as long as it's needed. And when will that be? We don't know. But we know that people are going to be driving cars, electric or not. You're going to have a piece of that work for energy to be hydrocarbons. They're going to be part of our conversation for many, many years. So we only build and operate facilities for the use of end users. And what I like to say is any bit of energy that we transport, you know where it goes? It goes to you or me or somebody else. That's the end beneficiary of every gallon of gasoline, every cubic feet of natural gas, and every other type of energy product that's out there. It powers the world. And we're going to continue to do it proudly with our hundreds of employees as long as it's needed.
Yeah. And I know you want to also give us some encouragement. I'm going to get the flag and the banner in the background here too, Alan. I know that you want to, you encourage these kids to get involved political, not just professionally, but to also do something for their communities, to aspire to something, whether it's city council or right on up to president.
It is. I made the comment that we hear a lot that I want to grow up to be president as a young person. And I said, well, say I want to grow up to be a member of the school board. Not necessarily the loftiest position politically, but it's one of the most important positions for our communities. And whatever kind of service it is, some people will serve in the military. Some people will serve in groups like Kiwanis and be part of that as a community service. But also, let's not forget about elected office. And unfortunately, these days, we don't have enough candidates for the positions, and the candidates we do get are often on the fringes, unfortunately, and particularly on the races that are less high profile. And city councils are important. School boards are important. And the more we can get bright young people to be part of that, I think the better off we're going to be as a country. And remember, the city councils and county commissioners are feeding ground for the higher offices. So really, really important. And I served on a city council myself and also in the military. And all of these things are the excuse that I don't have time. There's never going to be a time when you do have time. And there's always going to be competing challenges with family or whatever you have. But sometimes we just need to make the time because it's that important for our, not just our local issues, but our national issues. And with all that's going on in the world right now, and all of the tough discourse that's out there, as you know well, Bill, the best way to be part of that to make it better is to get engaged. And so I hope that we have a future crop of elected officials in this room today, and I think that will serve us all well.
All right. Thanks, Alan, for everything that you do, and for Kinder Morgan, too.
Thanks for everything you do, Bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alan Ford, just a wonderful gentleman, and a great event yesterday. We're proud to be part of Chatham County's Star Student, Star Teacher program for the Savannah Downtown Kiwanis Club. And coming up next, we got more good news about young people and elsewhere, as this big revival going on in Kentucky is really something else.
Yeah, I'm happy to see younger people getting involved, and I think that, they've gotten a bad rap, and I think that we're going to start seeing more of them coming out and doing great things. So
more of that coming up next.
We'll be right back.
At Get Real America, we want to make sure that the real story gets out, and you can help us as a sponsor or as an advertiser to make sure that that word does get out to the community.
Be a sponsor and support your local community here at Get Real America.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
I don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. And just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
And it is Ash Wednesday. And how appropriate. I don't think that the folks at the Asbury College up in Kentucky had any idea when they went to one of these, 24-hour type revival type thing at this Asbury church, that it was going to turn into this.
It's been an incredible thing up there in Kentucky, and I know that I had some people that were going to go, but they're like 3-hour waiting line. They're a little bit older, so they were like, there's no way that I can wait in a 3-hour line, but they really wanted to go just for the experience and just to...
People have flown in or driven from across the world and across the country and the world, and it has been absolutely phenomenal what's been going on, and it's been doing like 2 weeks.
Yes.
Solid. I mean, it has not stopped for 2 solid weeks, and it's about to come to an end because this little town can't. They're at the end of their resources, but they said this is not going to be the final thing. In fact, it could be the beginning. But the students at this college are just are remarkably wonderful, Christian people, and they're so excited about what's going on, and just the beginning. And last night on Fox News at Night, one of the young ladies was interviewed by Trace Gallagher, the host, and she was just incredibly enthusiastic about what this was. And what this has turned into, and she said this is only the beginning, and she's really proud of her Gen Zers now. She said that sometimes get a bad rap, but said that they're becoming more and more. You can see the trend going back toward going to church. When Trace put up one of the graphics, it was like, the people who were in the 75 to 80-year-olds, they're like 70-80% churchgoers, and the 54-year-olds are like 58%, and then it drops down to about 22% when you get to the 22 to 25-year-olds, and yet the 19 to 25, the trend is going back up. So what do you
think that caused that, Bill?
I think there are a lot of things, because, and I think that this young lady mentioned it, is that they're looking for something. They're looking for something because they've got there's no anchor at this point. If you don't have God, if you don't have a central reason for being, and know that there is the higher power and that you're put here for a purpose, then you're like like ship without a rudder, and they're suddenly discovering that there's something else, that there has to be something else that gives you purpose. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things, what we were saying about over half the female young girls now in the 15-year and teenagers feel hopeless.
Yep.
2/3 of them, or something like it. There's nothing to live for. We hear from all these, because they believe all this environmental crap, that the world is coming to an end. Ocasio-Cortez tells them the world's going to end in 12 years. I think we've got 9 left now. But they say, we've heard them say at these environmental conferences and stuff, I'm not going to have children because the world won't be here.
Well, and because I want to, contribute to. I don't want to contribute to climate change. I think that's another reason. And
yeah, boy, those kids will really do it. I guess it's all the diapers they're having to use. Well,
and Bill, I think that it's also social media. They get their their confidence and stuff from how many likes they're getting on Instagram, and I think that that's a real problem.
And that ain't the real world.
That's the thing. Facebook, Twitter, all of these things, it's not reality.
No.
And I think allowing your kids to really have that be their entire world, I think that that's become a real big problem. And
I want to say something sometimes to these people when I walk by in the grocery stores or something, when the kid is wearing a mask and is 4 or 5 years old and is on one of these, the kid's laptop or iPad that they have, and they're doing all these games and everything. They might be good at those games, but they can't talk to anybody.
No. And
I want to tell them, take the mask off and take away that damn laptop or iPad.
Well, and since my parents are in town, we have a lot of these conversations. And one of the things that my dad was talking about was just, he wonders if this technology has just made people so they're unable to communicate without it. I mean, you talk to younger people, and I will say, even one of my siblings, sometimes he's always been heavily involved in computers and technology, and sometimes my dad wonders if that's affected his social ability. He's a great human, he's very intelligent, but as far as social skills, they really just aren't there. And he's not self-aware at all. And so, my dad has often wondered if maybe some of that has impacted him. And you see it a lot in young people, how they just, talking to them, they don't even look at you in the face anymore.
No.
They look at the ground, they're looking at their phone while they're talking to you. They're not engaged at all, which is hard.
And I always, when we go to restaurants, my wife Pam will tell the grandkids, you're leaving all that stuff in the car.
Yep.
You don't have to talk to us, but you ain't going to be on that computer. And my son and daughter-in-law, I give kudos to them for taking away that stuff from the kids, and said they will use it as a reward. You've been good this week. Okay, you can do this program. You can play this game, and that's it. They don't give it to them for 24/7, and I think that's a good thing. And when you go into these restaurants, Brittany, and you see a family sitting around the table and everybody looks like they're praying, they're not. They're all looking down at their phone or their iPad. They're not talking to each other, or if they are, they're texting each other.
Yes.
I remember even Governor Kemp. I remember telling him, saying one time he said he and First Lady Marty were watching television one night, and said and he looks at his phone and he said our 3 daughters are upstairs and they're texting us.
Oh my gosh.
He's got 3 wonderful daughters, and it's and he said, but here they are, they're right upstairs and they're texting us.
Yeah, well, and even when you go out with friends sometimes, it's like you go to lunch with your friends or dinner or whatever, and all of them are on their phones. It's like, did you forget to invite someone, or like what's going on? Do you want to be here?
No kidding.
So the technology has just really changed the way we interact with each other.
Here's the other interesting thing about that. All these people in Simi Valley and all these places that work in these facilities, they know that they have. They've got their kids in schools that don't use this stuff.
That is very interesting, Bill.
Yeah. So I don't know what to make of that, other than the fact that maybe they know something that maybe a lot of other people don't. So I would like to see our schools start taking all this technology out. That could save us a hell of a lot of tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So go back to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and just doing it on the blackboard, or now they're whiteboards, but they haven't been black in years. I always used to wonder when I was a kid even why they call it the blackboard, because ours were green.
Green, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, why'd they call it the blackboard? And then I saw this old movie where they originally the blackboard was black, so that's the standard thing, that's the phrase that we use now, no matter what color it is.
So funny how stuff just evolves over time.
It does, yes. Or whether
the name change
there was a great book. There's been some books about that, about where an expression comes from.
Yes.
And it's fascinating how we get. Do you know where the term? Just for example, one of my faves. Here's looking at you.
Okay.
When somebody when you're drinking, here's looking at you. You know where that originated?
The bottom of the cup. I don't know.
Well, you're onto something.
Okay.
Because they used to have, if you'll notice, beer steins
Yes.
and mugs. There's a glass bottom, so when you turn this up, you can see the person across from you. And it used to be 2 rivals if they were going like a sword fight.
Okay.
And they would drink to each other's health or whatever before one of them was going to kill the other one. But at the same time, they said when they went to drink, if this was a solid bottom and they couldn't see the other person, that other person could go ahead and pick up the sword and run them through while they're having a drink. So it was like, so they had the clear bottom where you could say, here's looking at you.
Wow.
That's where it came from.
That is so funny. You never know where these phrases come from. And
I
sometimes
know.
you're always like surprised. It's like, that, okay, I guess I get it, but they're pretty fun.
Fat Tuesday yesterday, Mardi Gras, the big railing regalia going on. Mobile, Alabama has a big one. Of course, New Orleans is the one that we know about. But as Lent begins, they did a survey down of the Mardi Gras revelers asking what they thought the president should give up for Lent. And one lady from Virginia said his presidency. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Me either, Bill. And I think we have 10 facts about Mardi Gras we're going to leave you with, and then we will be right back for our final segment.
Yeah. And we'll have that for you shortly.
Yes.
So stick around. This is Get Real America. Hope you're enjoying the show as much at home as we are here in the studio.
Yeah.
So enjoy, and we'd like to hear from you. What are you giving up for Lent? So give us.
Besides cauliflower pizza, Bill already
Yes.
took that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That was mine. So, but let's hear from you as well. So get us in. Tell them the website. Or where they go to. Is it
Localspin.com.
Localspin.com. There you go. Okay.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934 with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Who is a kid? Who is a kid? Well, that's a kid. And another. Look, a gaggle of them. Or is it a herd? Litter? Pride. But what about her? Tell her she's not a kid. Or him. So how do we tell who is a kid? Height? Age, maybe. But some of us have to grow up faster than others. A kid. A kid. A kid wants to make the world better. And one day, he just might. Is a kid fearless? Vulnerable? Strong? Nervous? Yes. 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 Kiwanis is 600,000 kids at heart doing all the little and big things it takes to help children around the world. Because kids need Kiwanis. All of them.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Here it is, Ash Wednesday, as we go into Lent. And earlier this week, or maybe late last week, Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina and then UN ambassador, has decided that she is going to throw her hat in the ring for president. It's not a big surprise. Didn't come as much of a surprise.
No.
She made the announcement in Charleston last week. And so she talked a little bit about what she thinks that this country could be and what her aspirations are if she gets to the Oval Office.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race. I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. Not black, not white. I was different. But my mom would always say, your job is not to focus on the differences, but the similarities. And my parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America. Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up. Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have seen evil. In China, they commit genocide. In Iran, they murder their own people for challenging the government. And when a woman tells you about watching soldiers throw her baby into a fire, it puts things in perspective. Even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. I was born and raised in South Carolina, so I have seen the very best of our country. People here threw out the old, tired political establishment and demanded accountability for their tax dollars. Industry reports called us the beast of the Southeast, which I loved. People came by the thousands for fresh starts. Moms and dads held their heads up high. Children learned that it was always
It's a great day in South Carolina. It's a great day.
It's a great day. A great day. A great day in South Carolina. We were strong. We were proud. And when evil did come,
Police in South Carolina are looking for a gunman following a shooting at a church.
Several victims. We don't know the severity.
we turned away from fear, toward God, and the values that still make our country the freest and greatest in the world. We must turn in that direction again. Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections. That has to change. Joe Biden's record is abysmal, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. The Washington establishment has failed us over and over and over again. It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility, secure our border, and strengthen our country, our pride, and our purpose. Some people look at America and see vulnerability. The socialist left sees an opportunity to rewrite history. China and Russia are on the march. They all think we can be bullied, kicked around. You should know this about me. I don't put up with bullies. And when you kick back, it hurts them more if you're wearing heels. I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
That is a sensational ad.
Yes, it is. And I think that, we do need to have younger people in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there comes a time where the generation really does need to turn it over to the next generation. And I don't know that they've done a great job of also helping people be prepared for that.
I think I heard on Clay and Buck yesterday, I think it was Buck that said, when we formed the Constitution, he said, I don't want to see, 23-year-olds as president or something like that.
No.
He said, we do have a minimum age.
Yes.
It's 35 in order to be president. But he said, I wish they had also put a maximum age in there, that after 80, that's it, or 75, that's it.
I 100% agree with that. I think that there's just, the generational gaps are too big, and they don't understand technology the same way that someone that is a little bit younger does understand it. And also, the way that things could move forward. I think that they tend to stick with what they know, the old school stuff, and I think that it is time for a new generation to take over that really understands what's needed in this country and the things that we can do to progress without harming the American public. I think that that's something that also needs to be considered.
And Purdue University does as good a job of trying to educate America as you possibly can. What can America be? This is a little bit of the video that they've put together on what the promises are of America that can still be achieved.
You don't need me to tell you what America's problems are. Plenty of people can do that. Instead, let me tell you about America's future, what it can be. I'm not making a prediction, but there's a new golden age waiting for us if we do just 5 things. 1, reconnect with our Judeo-Christian roots. In this vision of the future, a majority of Americans realize we have to return to the basics. A new appreciation of traditional Judeo-Christian values takes place. Call it a new awakening. We became an exceptional nation because we were largely a self-governing nation, the first in human history. The U.S. Constitution begins with the phrase, "We the people." But self-government only works if we are a moral country. And to be that, we need to appreciate the source of our values, the Bible. Our second president, John Adams, understood this right from the beginning. Our Constitution, he wrote, was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. Of course, this doesn't mean that you have to follow a specific religion or any religion at all. That's your constitutional right. But it does mean that as a society, we recognize Judeo-Christian values as our moral compass. Pointed in the right direction, a new sense of civility returns. Politics remains as fractious as ever, but our debates are more about policy than personality, more constructive and less bitter. 2, we take control of our children's education. In this renewed America, moms and dads demand to be informed about exactly what their children are learning. They don't take no for an answer. They get themselves elected to local school boards to make sure their wishes are enforced. Values-centered private schools, charter schools, online schools, and homeschools sprout up all over the country. Public schools stop being warehouses and become real places of learning. Proficiency in reading, writing, and math become our preoccupation rather than subjects like racial grievance, gender identity, and global warming. Music and art appreciation make a comeback. So do dress codes. Discipline and test scores improve. 3, we laugh cancel culture out of existence. America regains its sense of humor. Hypersensitive reactions to perceived slights are no longer taken seriously. We're able to tell a harmless joke without worrying about being hauled into the Human Resources Office. And if we've gone too far, we're quietly told to be more self-aware, and the matter is dropped. Lessons learned. With the pressure off, the office environment improves, employees stop walking on eggshells, and productivity increases. The spoiled brats lose influence. A new Saturday Night Live appears, one that pokes fun at everyone and anyone, right and left. And it's a huge success. 4, we become energy independent and secure our supply lines. America becomes the world's dominant energy producer. Not only do we produce more than enough energy for ourselves, but we produce enough to help our allies. We do it by responsibly developing our almost limitless natural resources. We also greatly expand our nuclear power industry. Small and very safe next-generation nuclear power plants provide more clean energy every year. Meanwhile, private business realizes the advantages of producing products from pharmaceuticals to heavy machinery in the United States. The government does all it can to encourage this boom, easing onerous regulations, insisting on fair trade agreements, and when necessary, imposing strategic tariffs. Along with this economic growth comes growth in personal income. People feel prosperous again. 5, marriage becomes the cool and smart thing to do. Young women realize devoting themselves to a career is not a substitute for good marriage and family. They start dating with intention to find a good man. And men respond by once again defining manhood as marrying and taking care of a wife and family. The studies turn out to be true. Marriage leads to more financial success, more personal fulfillment, a greater sense of purpose than living alone in pursuit of career goals. The marriage rate goes up across all races, and the average age that people get married goes down, reversing a 50-year trend. Both men and women are happier and experience less depression than the previous generation. 5 action steps to a new American century. We return to our Judeo-Christian roots. Take control of our kids' education. Laugh cancel culture into oblivion. Become energy independent. Make marriage cool again. We don't have to pass any laws or raise any taxes. We just need the will, the courage, and grit to create a better future. Can we make it happen? That's up to you. But I'll bet on America anytime. I'm Kendall Qualls, president of Take Charge for Prager University. Thank you for watching this.
Just great stuff. If that doesn't get us, keep us in YouTube purgatory, I don't know what will.
Right. I think that they seem like so easy too, Bill. They really are simple things that we could be returning to and going back to. There's something to be said about American tradition.
Yeah, and all the problems that we're having right now, most of them are self-inflicted.
Correct.
By not going after our own energy, not closing our border, just a couple of things that would make things better almost immediately, and also reinforcing our laws.
Yes, very simple things to turn this country around. You know, I'm inspired after seeing our young people today as well on the show. I think that they have a lot to offer, and you know, also what's going on in Kentucky. I heard it spread across the nation to other colleges. There's a lot going on that we should be very happy about, and I think that there's a lot that we can do to make this country what it used to be.
America's epitaph has been written on numerous occasions. It ain't so. And as the old Egyptian undertaker used to say after a hard day's work, that about wraps it up.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take care.